Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going back to the car club to finish rebuilding that Mustang 2 steering rack. If you watched the last video, you'll know that there's one seal deep inside the housing that I've got to get to by splitting the housing. So I have to drill out a couple of rivets and to get to where that seal is to replace it. So I'll probably get that done, hopefully get that done today, and if I'm really lucky, get the whole thing put back together. Wish me luck. Please like, comment, subscribe. So as I mentioned in my last video, there is another seal right in here-ish, somewhere in this area. So there were two rivets, which I have to drill out. So I've got the heads ground off. I've got my little center punched. Now I'm going to drill it out slowly and carefully and see if I can get these two parts halves apart to get to this seal. Well, to say this is a challenge is an understatement. So you can't see it, but I drilled out, I went through like 3 drill bits, drilling out the rivets. So I drilled through at least, well, not this thickness, but basically, yeah, almost that thickness. So through this pipe, which slides over here. And then I had to put this set up in order to get it to move. And even then it's tough. It's moving. So I get it to twist. Now, that's step 1. I may have to get the torches out to get it to twist off, or I may have to have someone else here with me to try and pull while I twist or something like that. But looks like I sort of got it apart, but this has not been fun. So Dennis just dropped by, and he did mention something kind of interesting, that if I did screw up these holes, oval them out too much, I can always drill and tap, 90 degrees around, like not in the same holes, but maybe 45, 90 degrees away from them, because everything's still sealed. I didn't drill all the way through, so I still do have that opportunity. So the seal kit I got is pretty self-explanatory. Most of them are pretty obvious where they go. These are the pins that go in the drumsticks or whatever you call them at the end to stop them from turning themselves out. There are some I don't have any more. These are Teflon. So that goes on, that's the rack, by the way. So in the middle here, this is a Teflon seal. And they also go in here. So this is the worm gear, and there's these 4 Teflon, I don't know what you call them, sealing rings. They are extremely difficult to get over, and they tend to stretch, which makes it difficult to get this whole assembly here back into the housing. So just a heads up, look up how to stretch Teflon sealing rings without breaking them. I managed to get it back in, and I really don't want to take it out to show you, sorry. And this piece here, which goes basically there, there's this seal, and it's basically you pull it out with a seal puller. You can tear it out. Getting it out is the easy part. Take it out in pieces, doesn't matter. And then when you put the seals in, obviously you have to push them in square. And what I did was, because this is flush with the aluminum, or almost flush with aluminum, I used something a bit bigger than the seal, and then I used this press, and then very, very carefully push the seal down, making sure it goes down even, because if it goes down sideways, well, you've wrecked the seal and you have to buy another one. So make sure it goes in straight, and that was good. Also, there's an O-ring here. Obviously, O-rings are easy enough to get on and off. A couple other O-rings, I figured out where they go. One goes in behind here, Move those. Goes down in there. Can't see it, but it goes, actually, sorry, it goes there. And then one goes in behind here, up against the bearing. So basically, you'll see it when you take these off. You see the seals. So those are easy to replace. There's also an O-ring that goes in between here. Again, you'll see it when you pull it apart, and then just replace it with the correct seal. This one here I'm not sure about, because it shows it there and an O-ring there. They weren't there when I took it apart, so I don't know how important that has to be. If you can see that, I'm talking about this O-ring and that oil seal. So I've got it. I'll put it on as long as it doesn't hinder reassembly. Not sure. I think this is the bottom. Goes on the bottom of the. Yeah, that's the one for the bottom of the worm gear. I have no idea what this nut's for. I've not come across anything this size. This is a seal which goes inside inside the rack housing that I'm trying to replace now. These are obviously for the boots. These are just seals that go in there for the lines that go that basically pump the fluid. I thought they were copper, so I annealed them so that if you anneal something, so heat it red hot, dunk it in water or oil, and that brings the softness back to copper, but they still seem pretty hard, so I'm wondering if maybe they're not copper. But man, it looks like copper. Anyhow, I've got to wait for someone to come here and help me with this, to pull this out. Going back and forth, I've got it, good 1/8 of an inch anyways, but I'm just going back and forth, and I'm not actually getting it out, so I'm going to need somebody else here for that. I'll let you know how that goes. Got it off. Really weird. It looks like almost threaded, because that's how I got it off. I just kept turning it and turning it, and it just came off. So we got an O-ring here, which isn't in the kit, and the oil seal right here, which I'll be able to get with the seal puller. Yeah, it looks like that's a really, if it's threaded, that's a really fine, very shallow thread. Anyways, you can see how I buggered up these holes. This one more than the other one. But when I get the seal out, I'll be able to have a look to see, make sure I didn't go all the way through on either of these holes. And if these are still good, I might just screw it back on, and then maybe here just drill a hole, tap it, put something in just to stop it. Not that it's going to unthread because it's mounted on the car, but just to keep it in place. But yeah, that was fun. New seal and O-ring is in. I used the press to put this in nice and straight. O-ring is new. I borrowed that from Steve or somebody at the club. Now time to see if I can screw this back on. Alright, got a new seal in here. Didn't know that it was there, but that was where my extra seal was going. Got the rack in. That was fun. Had to give it a little bit of a tap to get past the edge, but it's in. So in behind here is the nut on the end of the worm gear. So I put a new O-ring and the nut, and then this cover back on. And in here, this is the, I don't know what you would call that, a tensioner, basically, that puts tension on the rack. So it's this little plastic thing here, pushes against the rack. And there's O-ring on here, on the outside there. And then this little spring. And put that back on. So I got the other end seal. I have that little piece of aluminum. That's in there now. So now I screw this in using the tool I made, and that should take it all home and basically seal it up. The lines are in. Now I've got my jam nut there, tightened here. I gotta put one of those little pins in there to stake it. Pin is in. There it is, all put together. I'm just going to give it a coat of paint, put the boots back on it. But got those both lined up. Yeah. Lines are in loose. I got to tighten them. I got to get the proper wrench to tighten them. And I might put a drill there and put in a pin, sort of like that, just to stop this coming apart. Not that he will. Anyhow, thanks for watching.